talking about.
Yeah. Because direct message, 4 syllables. DM, don't tell me, 2 syllables.
Who said you're bad at math?
Everybody. Hey, there's Mary Santora right over there.
Hi, guys. No baby.
She's the smart one on the show. When it comes to math,
academically, maybe.
when it comes to math, you know, the pride of the University of Toledo.
Mm-hmm. Dropout, baby!
A dropout of the University of Toledo. If you're a first-time listener to the show, that's what you're in for. She's the smartest one, and she dropped out of the University of Toledo. The Red Rockets, what are they? The Mud Hens? What are they?
Yeah, the Red Rockets.
The Red Rockets, yes.
The Toledo Red Rockets.
The Glass Animals?
Yes.
It's the Glass City, right?
Toledo is considered Glass City. Yes, that's their nickname. The Toledo Rockets is the University of Toledo. The Toledo Mud Hens is their farm.
Oh, I was close. Right,
Yeah.
I said Red Rockets.
Sure.
It's the Rockets.
Yes.
Oh, I thought I was way off.
No.
I was 50% there.
The Mud Hens is the farm team for the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Right down the highway. Mm-hmm. Hey, Poundcake's back behind the glass.
Afternoon, white people.
There's a new Poundcake podcast for you if you go to alancoxshow.com. I was texting with my sister earlier today. It's her birthday today. My sister turns 33 years old. She was 9 months old when I left for college, and so our lives have largely not been together. But she has my nephew who's 11 or 12 now, something like that. And I was checking in with her on her birthday, see how she was doing. I think she's dating a cop.
Hey.
A Chicago cop. So there's that whole thing, I think. Because she and my son, just coincidentally, I was texting with both of them a couple of weeks ago, and she and my son were both in Chicago doing something at the same time, and I didn't know if they had hooked up, or I don't know. My son was celebrating his 21st birthday, and she was doing something with her boyfriend. I don't know. I like to kind of be... I want to kind of keep more, one of my, I'm not one for New Year's resolutions, but one that I've kind of silently made to myself is for this year to be more actively engaged in my family's lives. You know what? I'm the only one who's not there. I'm the only one who hasn't been there for 25 years. And so they're all able to kind of stay physically, if nothing else, interacting with each other, whereas I have to kind of text people, and I'm at the mercy of if they get back to me and things like that. I don't get home very often just because it's a pain in the ass and it's all. But that's what I'm trying to do this year. So I'm trying to interact more, be more actively invested in my family's lives.
Good.
Now, is there anything in that for me? You might ask. No.
It's a great way to look at it. It's just a beautiful way to look at it.
Well, not how I look at it, but it is what it is, right? I guess what's in it for me is to be more, listen, she goes, oh, my boyfriend's a cop. I don't know this. This is the first I've heard of this. I didn't even know she had a boyfriend. Don't know.
Being closer to your family.
Closer to my family, if not physically, then just, taking an interest in what's going on.
That's what's in it for you.
Except,
feeling closer to your family.
Here's the problem, though.
Boy.
A lot of my family, we're all very similar in a certain way, which is...
Thumbs up text message.
Yes. Thumbs up text message. Yes.
So you have to make phone calls.
I didn't come by it coincidentally in my family. We were all... My sister was raised, obviously, essentially as an only child, But because she was so far behind us in age. But I'll call my mother, I'll talk to my dad a few times a year, but I don't traditionally call my siblings, People are busy and they've got stuff to do and they've got kids and all that. But I feel like I should try to, Now, does anybody ever hit me up? No, they don't. So that's what really precipitated this whole thing in my brain was, well, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done.
Right.
I'm a big
Just
proponent.
like everything, right?
That's right. In my life,
done right,
in
do
my
it
work,
yourself.
you are goddamn correct.
I
had this conversation with Simon Cowell a few years ago. When you take your hands off the wheel, you have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah.
If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
See, I was in therapy yesterday, and one of the things I'm going to work on this year is being less involved in my family's life because there are no boundaries in my family, so everything is everybody's problem.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
that's the opposite end of the spectrum.
It's 100% the opposite. Yeah. So I was,
So wait, your problems are everybody's problems?
Like if my brother and his wife were having marriage issues and we didn't all know about it, we would take offense to that. Like, why aren't you sharing you should share your whole life with your family. Everything about your life is shared with your siblings because that's just how we've always operated.
But is that in the interest of support or is it in the interest of being nosy and FOMO?
No, in the interest, for me at least, in the interest of support.
Well, that's sweet then.
I think so too. When my boyfriend and I were talking about, when I brought up the idea of changing his daughter's playroom into a spare bedroom, I sent that text message to my family and I was like, hey, what do you guys think about this? This is what the discussion that we're having. And he's like, why did you bring all of your siblings into our discussion? And I'm like, I need their opinion too. Like, what are you talking about?
Hey, what do you guys think about us? See, to me, I would run so often, I would be the guy with no opinion. You know what I mean?
Everyone has an opinion in my family.
I guess because of the dynamic that you describe, everybody is required to have an opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody can sit it out.
Or it's almost offensive if you do. It's like, what, so you just don't care if I have a spare bedroom for you to sleep in? Then sleep somewhere else when you come into town.
Yeah.
That sounds so exhausting.
There's a lot going on there.
So
really
exhausting. Because it's just not,
It's always something, especially having five of us. There's always something happening.
Yes.
So I have the exact opposite New Year's resolution as you, is to maybe reserve a little bit.
To separate yourself from your family.
Not even separate myself, but not get
cut 'em
so
off.
overly emotionally involved. Because everything they do is like weighs on my mind.
To selectively disengage.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? That might play into you learning how to delayed gratification.
Amen.
You don't need to know right now what they're doing. You can find out down the road what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have the opposite problem, Alan. My family, we all share everything every moment of every day.
Well, that sounds, like Bill said, exhausting.
It sounds exhausting.
And egregious.
It's too much.
It sounds terrifying and tiring, and I have...
Then, just every little thing,
there are no secrets.
There's no... We also have no secrets, but we also don't... It's not like there's secrets. It's just like, oh, if you ask me, we'll tell you about it, but it's not...
No, I'll get a phone call from my sister like, did you hear about Tony? And I'm like, oh, God, no, what happened? And it's not really gossipy. It's more like... It might be a little bit gossipy, but it's more like... Hey, here's what's going on in his life. If you could shoot him a text message.
This also sounds time-consuming. This sounds like the privilege of people that have a lot of free time on their hands.
Not even.
It sounds time-consuming.
I mean, as much time as you want to put into it.
But
I don't have to answer right away.
But you don't. You just said you'll be in trouble if you'll be in trouble if you don't put any time into it.
Everybody puts time into it.
Trouble.
Well,
you just might, we just want everyone's opinion before we make decisions.
Oh God! By committee, nothing gets done by committee.
Right? And why would you want their opinions when it sounds like a lot of times you guys are so wildly on the opposite sides of issues?
It's never about anything like political or anything
I'm not
like
even
that. It's
talking about
usually
political,
about like life stuff.
But even life stuff, like it sounds like...
Or it's more about advice.
Everybody's always on like the cusp of mental breakdown.
You want to get
from the way you describe it to us.
They are.
So why would you take advice from them? Is my
you want to get
question.
a variety of perspectives.
Yeah.
You want a free exchange of ideas.
And
just sounds nothing gets done by committee. It sounds like it's very time consuming.
Well, and I think too because the five of us are so different from each other that you are getting a wide array of points of view.
But are you?
Yeah, you really are.
You absolutely are, but how do you arrive at any consensus then?
You want to know something?
You don't.
You don't.
There's no consensus. Two, I usually end up doing what I want anyway because I'm like,
That's
well,
what
this
I'm
was
saying.
not
Just dip
helpful.
it. And that's. But you know what? Knowing that,
At least I know it.
Mary goes and 2. How does your
Yeah.
family feel about your inability to index? By the way,
It's from Home Alone.
and 2.
A, 2, and D.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
but now that you know that and you can recognize that, you can use that to make the decisions and then just tell them the decision you already made.
Yeah.
So you don't have to.
Again, like I said, something we're working on.
That
Anyway.
way they can still know what you're gonna do, but you don't need the back and forth and the input on stuff that you weren't going to listen to anyway.
I kind of like the chaos.
We're all,
being honest.
and there it is. And there right there is there you go. That's your top line lead right there. I kind of like the chaos.
Well, because then he'll be like, why do you care what your brother Kyle says about Blake's playroom? And I'm like, I just want to know. He has kids. I want to see what he has to say. Can you believe that he's like, you got yourself into this.
Yes,
this is
you
your
did.
own
Yep.
fault.
She likes the chaos. All right, listen, I've got to take a break. I'll have another $1,000 for you to win around 2:30. Plenty of chances this afternoon for you to go fund yourself. So listen for those keywords. Next one is coming up around 20 minutes.